Stay tuned for the biggest fish, the hottest bites, this week here on In-Depth Outdoors. With James Holst.
Look at that. Wow, is that an incredible fish?
And the rest of the IDO fishing team. We're headed to the best fisheries across the upper Midwest and Canada. We'll fish longer, explore unfished bodies of water, and go further off the beaten path in search of the hottest bites in fresh water.
Look at that.
With Cal Schwiel.
What a specimen.
And Joel Nilsson.
Whoa, this is an absolute monster.
This is In-Depth Outdoors.
On today's episode of In-Depth Outdoors, we're fishing with Adam Rasmussen in Wisconsin on the Fox River. Now what brings us here is the Fox opens up early every year. And by that I mean you start to see fish coming up out of Green Bay a lot earlier in the season than we do in a lot of rivers across the Midwest. Guys have been catching post-spawn fish here on the Fox River. Now this is the last week of March for a week to 10 days. They've been reporting big females that have already dropped eggs. There's nowhere else in the upper Midwest that I'm aware of where the fishery is this far along.
There's definitely a lot of waves of fish that came up, and this is a river where the bite's going to last for several weeks, and there's going to be multiple waves of fish that came up. Some have spawned already, and hopefully today we get on some of those big pre-spawn females.
Well, despite the cold temperatures overnight, we've got great conditions today. We've got exactly what we look for when we're trying to time one of these trips. We've got sunny conditions, and we're going to see temperatures into the low 50s. That'll bring that water temperature up by early afternoon, we hope, and that'll get the bite really cranking. So I'm pretty sure that we're going to see some big walleyes hit the net here today on In-Depth Outdoors. So do stick around. I think you're going to love today's show. Now this area we're fishing is right below a dam on the Fox River, and it gets real shallow, 3 to 6 foot. And there's little funnels and undulations in the bottom contour in here. And the walleyes will come up into these shallow areas and kind of sit down on those depressions before they move further upstream. And this is just a great location to cast crankbaits to catch these fish. And one of the keys that we found here for catching fish is anytime they raise or lower the water levels, it really seems to kick these fish off, get them very active. And of course, we prefer actually having more water come through the dam. Last night we had some rain, and what I'm seeing right now, we're gonna keep a real close eye on some of these little obstructions, these rocks that are sticking up out of the water right below the dam. And what we're hoping to see is those objects disappear in the water, which will indicate to us that they're letting more water through. And when that happens, that typically will coincide with a real strong bite window. Could last an hour or two. So right now it doesn't look like they're running a lot of water. Hopefully later in the day that changes, and that should really kick these fish off. I'm gonna start with my lucky crankbait. This one. Now remember, it's not a race to see who can lose the most crankbaits at them. There we go. Man, am I gonna miss my sunglasses today. Fish on. All right.
Fish on.
Here it comes. Just woofed that crankbait.
That one definitely wanted it.
First fish of the day, man. On the front hook. That's what we want to see. Of course, when I say that's what we want to see, I was hoping to see about an extra foot in length on that fish, but that'll do. That crankbait there is quickly becoming one of my favorites. It's a smash shad, that's the size 7. And let's see, pink blue UV. Great river color. That fish thought so. Headed in the right direction. Really hoping that we're gonna see a great bite today. Everything's kind of coming together to where we feel like we've got a pretty good shot at putting some great fish in the boat today. There you go. Small female, about 20, 21 inches. She's gone. Now, if you're not familiar with the Fox River, really how this all sets out is the Fox is one of the major spawning tributaries for the south end of Green Bay. So you've got Green Bay, which is just a walleye factory, and you've got the Fox River rolling into that south end, and this is one of the major tributaries where so many of the walleyes will run up here and spawn. And of course, for us fishermen, anytime you get an obstruction like a man-made dam, you know the walleyes can only go so far. So it's a great point where you can run into large concentrations of big fish coming up out of the lake.
There's one right at the boat.
Nice.
Big fish, big fish, big fish.
Coming, 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 coming.
I had like 5 feet of line on, and he just
It's like the one I
came
had
up
last
and
time.
cracked it. That's a good one.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
That one was going nowhere.
That one was pinned.
That's on your old throwback.
Yeah, I went back to the
Gold metallic perchy.
chrome perch and another nice walleye. Not as big as they come out here, but right now the current has slowed down and the fishing has almost completely stopped, and we're just waiting for that shift again where we get a little more current and these fish get fired up, but take these in between. All right, we'll let this girl go.
Nice fish, buddy. They don't waste any time getting gone, do they?
No, they are ready to go back.
Hey, you remember when we were hanging out last night? You know, me, you, Gail.
That's my girl.
You guys are awesome. And then you went to bed.
I was tired.
You were super tired. And then it was just me and Gail.
Mm-hmm.
Alone.
What?
Yeah!
It's all in the paws. New Shadow Wrap from Rapala.
If I get it back, I'm gonna come back with about 6 of your cranks.
I
You hit
picked
it
the
once.
fish off of that rock.
You hit it once and come back and hit it again. I watched it.
Not very big.
No, but it was still cool to watch it bonk and that look on your face where you're like, oh, that might have been one, and then have it come back and knock you again.
Oh. He's not that bad though. He just wasn't fighting.
Drifting downstream in the current.
Get in here. T-boned it.
Pretty cool to watch that unfold. That look on your face after that first
Just-
swing and a miss is like, what the heck just happened?
Just went boom, boom. And I got another 3 turns on the handle and he came up and whammed it. Just switched colors on that one and put the pink UV on. Just a nice fat little female. Not a giant, but
How long you been doing this?
fishing on the Fox. I've been out here fishing ever since I was a kid. It's always, there's a lot of people that fish out here. Obviously you gotta fish in crowds, but it seems like when you get out here early before them, you know, we're pretty much have this whole area casting crankbaits to ourselves. And then last year when we were here, we came out after everybody and there's still fish up here spawning and kind of had it all to ourselves. So if you time it just right, you can kind of beat the crowd and be away from the people and still catch beautiful fish like this. You don't catch any small ones out here. I mean, a small fish is a 17 or 18 incher. When you set the hook, odds are it's gonna be a 20 plus inch fish, and there's fish in that low 30 inch range. You know, any cast you can catch one of those, so.
That's what I'm holding out for.
All right, let's let this girl go and get ready to do her deal. Thank you.
Fish.
Boom.
Good one. He ain't bad. I
It's
like
a
him.
fish.
I'm fond of him.
You broke the rule on that one and cast downstream. It's a
Yeah,
nice
so
one.
he's no giant, but he'll do. I'm really starting to like that purple color, that purple pink thingy.
There you are.
Thank you, sir. This is a fun bite. You know, there's more technical walleye bites out there. You think about pitching a jig, you know, a light 16th ounce jig, pitching that up shallow, maybe Lindy rigging a leech. Throwing a crankbait and current for walleyes, that's kind of the opposite of technical. Just turn the reel handle, let the fish do the rest. Not a giant, very nice fish. I hope to catch many, many, many more like it. Woo! There you go. All right.
Oh, there we go. There's a fish.
That's a nice one, bud.
Just barely hooked.
You're on your own. Nice.
That one'll work. All right. I still stuck with the smash shad, but I switched it up and went to a clown one, and this girl wanted it.
Not as big as your first one, but larger than your second one.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely nothing wrong with that fish. Hard as a rock too, so they're just starting to move up the river, starting to get ready to spawn. I'll take that one any day.
It's a beautiful fish, bud.
This is starting to get fun now. We'll let her go. All right.
Craftsmanship and precision are just words until you add driving passion and a knowledge of what defines rod building excellence. Tuned Up custom rods are built with a perfect blend of rod balance and action. A truly custom experience achieved only with the highest quality materials, from the handle to the last guide and every thread wrap in between. It's these components, along with an attention to detail, that makes our custom ice rods a Tuned Up custom.
Fish on. Rip and wrap.
No kidding.
Pulled the old switcheroo.
Feel like a good one?
Ah, feels decent.
You're on your own.
All right. That one did not crush it. He just barely.
All they gotta do is make one tiny little mistake. Reach out and touch it.
About the same as the rest have been.
That's a chubby. You get bonus points for mixing it up, man.
Another nice fish, though.
Nice fish, buddy.
Not a giant yet, but another nice pre-spawn walleye. There's kind of on the bottom side of this, there's a little bit of lip that drops into deeper water, and I picked up a rip and wrap, and that was on my first cast with it. One came up and clobbered it, so I think maybe as the water has slowed down and dropped a little bit, some of these fish have slid back, and they'll just sit on that lip until we get a little more current and a rise in water level, and then they'll come piling back up here.
It's a completely acceptable theory as far as I'm concerned.
See if it works. All right, let's let this girl go.
If we can keep picking them up like that, Adam, that'll be we'll be doing just fine.
I think it's only going to get better as this water warms up today. So we're off to a good start already.
Fish on, fish on.
Fish on.
Throwing a little rip and wrap.
Looks
On
like
number 5.
Looks like a good one.
We'll see. Of course, these rip and wraps have such small hooks. Number 5, not very big hooks. Not a lot of room to play. Thank you.
You betcha.
Where are my pliers? All right. This is what we're talking about with that little rip and wrap. It's a much smaller bait. We're throwing the number 5. A lot of times in the river current we threw a 6 or a 7. So anytime we hook up one of these nicer fish in current, we usually worry a little bit about one of those little hooks pulling loose, but that one stayed stuck. Pretty decent fish. We don't have a lot of current right now, and that really seems to be the linchpin to our success here today. We get more current, the fish get more active. That current level drops off, and things get a little bit more difficult. But we're just by switching around baits, trying lots of different lures, switching up our colors, it just seems like every new lure is good for one new fish. That one ate that little craw pattern number 5 ripping wrap. Nice little guy, girl as the case may be. But we'll let her go. There you go. See you later, girl. She's ready. Not much for grace on that release. Like I said, every bait seems to be good for one new fish. I actually thought that was going to be a lot bigger than that, Adam. I mean, it's so hard to tell how big they are when they come downstream like that. You know, that one actually kind of dug and fought. A lot of times those fish they'll come down quick to the boat with the current.
Yep.
You never know what you got till you see it.
You never know until they're right next to the boat. The current is definitely...
it's picking up.
Every time we get current today, we catch a few fish, and seems to be working. It's a little different. Last year it was a 2-mile-an-hour current. Now it's 0.2 of a mile an hour.
Yeah. Got him!
Hang on, I'll get the net. Rip and wrap has been the deal on the last few fish.
Yeah.
Looks like it
Which I don't mind. I mean, I love fishing these things. So.
It's a little better fish. Well, like the rest of them.
It's a mama. She smoked it.
Barely.
Thank you. Yeah, we get on a good run of fish fishing these ripping wraps, and I'm going to be a happy cat. Look at that, popped right off.
Nice job.
Thank you. Well, that hook popped loose already. That makes it very easy. You know, the average size of our fish today have been really nice. We haven't had any of the giants that the Fox River can produce, but I don't think anybody's going to have any issues with fish like that. Very, very nice fish. I'll let that one go. See you later, alligator. Here's what we switched over to. Got a chrome and blue number 5 rip and wrap. Like I said, I mean, it's just pouring through the tackle box now. You can hardly go wrong with lure shape or dive curve color. Like I said so many times now, it seems like for every bait in the box, there's one more fish just out there waiting for it. We just haven't found anything that qualifies as a pattern. I mean, right away this morning we had a good run on the smash ads and that purple pink color, but since then it's just been throw the box at them and see what works. We'll just keep switching it up, and if I can catch a fish like that every time I snap on a new crankbait, we'll have a bunch of fish in the boat by the end of the day.
Heck yeah.
All fishermen are created equal. Some just use better fishing line.
Fish on. This one's legit.
Come up there with you.
I switched over to that chartreuse and orange. Nice fish. We caught so many of those 22 to 24 inch fish today.
Yeah, they've all kind of been running that same size. They're all nice ones, but...
I'm in my element. Get to start catching these things on these ripping wraps, and it's good stuff. He's loose. Hey, where are you going with my box?
Just don't worry about it.
Don't you worry about it. Adam was nice enough to come up here and net that fish for me, and on the way back, he grabbed my whole box of ripping wraps.
I've seen multiples caught on it. I'll put one on.
Ah, they're so fat. Come here, you. Fine. Just grab you like that. Another beautiful female. Obviously, you can tell that, you know, as we get deeper into the day here, the waters are warming up. We're getting more fish. They're getting aggressive. We got a little bit more current. Like I said, that little reference mark up here that we had where we were kind of watching 3 little rocks that were sticking out of the water. They're long gone now, so the current's picked up. Maybe some of that rain we got last night helped with that water level just a little bit. I'll let that one go. And again, as we've done so many times, just switched colors. Went to this chartreuse and orange rip and wrap. You know, in the past, when we've been here, needed to use a much bigger bait. We've tried using the rip and wraps here, size 6, size 7, and that's what you need just to make good bottom contact and maintain control of the bait during the sweep. But the water levels are so low right now, we're fishing a 5, and in fact, if I had my ice fishing box with the number 4 ultralights, I'd probably give those a try too. And as this water temperature just keeps slowly rising, these fish are gonna get more and more aggressive. And this type of bait, where you've got kind of a hard rattle, a real erratic movement to the bait, can really be a great bait in this type of situation where, you know, the fish are really kind of primarily concerned about spawning. But if you can get them to do like a reaction strike to one of these baits as it bounces past their head, you can put a lot of fish in a boat in a very short amount of time. I wish I had some replacement trebles though. That rear hook on these number 5s it's small. You know, thankfully most of the fish get hooked right on that front hook. They T-bone the head of the bait and that's where they get them. But if I was to hook up a giant, I'd be worried until that thing hit the bottom of the net for sure.
We would probably have to go and chase them around.
All right, Adam, I think we should put a fork in it. I know we could stay till dark and probably catch a bunch more fish, but I know we talked earlier about hitting a couple more rivers. I want to do that. So let's go check out the Wool for the Wisconsin and see what's going on over there.
Sounds good to me. This is just the beginning of a few weeks of great fishing, so looking forward to hitting some other bodies of water and catching more walleyes.
Well, I'll grab the anchor. Let's get out of here. I'm sure it's going to get a little bit busier once everybody gets off for work. More boats out here.
Sounds good to me.
Well, we're going to call it a day. Caught a ton of fish out here on the Fox. Conditions right now are just prime for this pre-spawn bite to just ramp right up. By the time this show airs here in 4 days, I would expect this bite to just be absolutely rocking. Water temperatures will continue to rise. That'll pull more and more fish up out of Green Bay. And I think one of the things that's actually going to slow down this bite, not just here, but just the pre-spawn bites everywhere, it's just the lack of water. The water levels are so low this year that you're just not seeing those huge runs of fish coming up out of the lake in big numbers right away. Because, I mean, this is a trickle compared to what it would normally be. So don't let the low water levels throw you off though. The fish are gonna spawn and they're definitely gonna run up rivers. So that's what we're gonna do here the rest of the day. We're gonna go check out the Wool for the Wisconsin, see what's going on over there. But to get in on these fish here on the Fox, it's just the basics. You need a boat that floats, an anchor that hooks, a walleye rod, and a tackle tray full of crankbaits, and you're good to go. So this bite for the last 2 years has been just awesome to us. Come out, give it a try. I think you'll just enjoy your time out here. And what I love about being out here when I see all these boats around us, lots of kids. So if you got kids there at home, bring them along. Now, if you want to get in on one of these really good river bites this spring, and you don't really know the ropes yourself, give Adam a call. Rasmussen Outdoors online, look him up. He's a great guide, really good guy to fish with, and definitely knows the ropes on how to get in on some great walleye fishing here on these rivers in Wisconsin. So from Adam and I, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
For more info on the latest fish reports, gear recommendations, and hottest techniques, connect with us online at indepthoutdoors.com or follow us on Facebook at In Depth Outdoors. And if you enjoyed today's show, be sure to let our sponsors know.